Well, I've got the white surfacing product applied to the airplane now, and it looks pretty good. Now, this is a brighter white than the racing white that I'm going to be putting on. This will be the shade of overall white. It's called racing white, TS7. Anyway, it's a little creamier. You see the red light from the camera hitting it, but anyway, it's a creamier white. It's more of a almost an antique white, and that's the effect I like. This shade of white almost looks like white plastic to me, and it's incorrect for the airplane. All the photographs I've seen, even though they're vintage photographs, and we all know the effects of UV on old especially color photographs. Um, but that's the look I expect that it would have had, is more of a cream white than a brilliant white or refrigerator white like this is. Right. So let's see. I still need to primer and paint both propellers, and then at this point here, I've sanded it with the 400 grit overall, smoothed it out, and the next step is going to be applying the overall white, painting the propellers silver, aluminum cast, and then we're going to let that white dry for about as long as I can, 3 days minimum. I want it to dry for at least 3 days. In the meantime, I'll be working out the masks, cutting the paper templates for the masking tape, and figuring out that order. And then I'll need to lay out all the decals and figure out in which order they go. In other words, the side striping I think goes on first, and then the Gilmore text on the side of the airplane toward the rear, and then the windows and door over the stripe, over the side stripe, and then the Lionhead logos and the Gilmore Oil Company writing on both the tail and the wheel pants. Again, I'll be masking the cowling with red V or A-frame shape right about here, and then the decal lays on, and it's basically open in that area, so it's red, gold, and black on the cowling. That should look pretty good if it'll lay down onto these compound curves. I'm still concerned about how that's going to fly. If it doesn't really work, I'm contemplating just painting the whole thing. I'll have to get some gold paint, and then the black striping I can probably either use decals or a black Sharpie. But again, it depends on how those go and what effect they have on the balsa wood, on this treated surface. So again, this is just set on here loosely. I just want to get an overall impression of the airplane now. You can kind of imagine how it'll be with that red and white paint and all the graphics on there. It's a pretty stunning looking airplane to my eye. The Air Express, not necessarily the model, but the actual aircraft. I mean, if you look at the configuration of it, and the fact that in the 20s, most of the airplanes being built were still cloth covered and wire braced, and were about 100 miles an hour slower than this airplane was in the air. It was pretty amazing. And it had the range. It could fly at high altitude. It could fly faster than anything else in the air by about 100 knots. So, I mean, just an amazing airplane. And when you look at it, how clean it was in spite of the struts, it's just a beautiful design, I think. Anyway, so white primer's on. It's dry. It has been sanded. And then the next step now will be to get the overall white final top coat on. Let that dry for a few days, and then apply our red. It's going to be a nice deep red. The decals are a very deep red. I had bought this color initially. It is called Pure Red, and I was going to use this, which is pretty red. It's red, but then I saw this color, and this is more in line with our decals. This is gloss dark red. And you can see the difference here. Probably, I don't know how that looks on camera. My lighting isn't great in here, as you guys know. But you can see it's about 4 shades darker, deeper red. At least 4 shades. So anyway, there's going to be our red accent paint. And again, that goes around the wing, leading a trailing edge, top and bottom, around the wheel pants circumference. It'll go into this V shape here on either side of our cowling, and it'll also surround the vertical stabilizer and rudder and the horizontal stabilizer and elevators. It'll just be on top and bottom on both sides of the rudder, about, I don't know, maybe 3/8 of an inch wide. Right? It'll be wider than that. It'll be more than 1/2 inch wide here. Probably just follow this stringer, the leading edge stringer. We'll just follow that line best as we can. And then I'll just make circle masks for the end and tie those in with a straight run of tape here, and straight run of tape here, and then we'll use the plastic wrap, taped on to block the bulk of the wing. I don't like to use very much tape on the painted surfaces. Minimal amount of tape as I can get away with on the painted surfaces. I don't want anything lifting off when I pull the tape. So anyway, that's why we use a lot of plastic wrap, a lot of saran wrap, if you want to call it that. I use that stuff once I get the outline taped, and then I just cut that stuff into the shape that I want, and then tape it to the tape, to the existing tape line, so that we mask off the open area with non-adhesive back material. All right, does that make sense? I mean, I'll probably just on camera do some of the masking on camera so you see what I'm talking about. There we are. We're getting there. I think it's gonna, and I don't want to jump the gun, but I think we're on the right track. Let's put it that way. I think we're on the right track. I'm kind of excited for the outcome here. I hope we get a good outcome. Thank you.